Fitness has been entirely overcomplicated. Guys like this, Jeff Nippard, Mike Israetel, I'm not saying that they don't know anything or that their programs don't necessarily work, but they have completely overcomplicated fitness and turned it into this very unfun, judgy thing where everybody thinks they're the smartest guy in the room, and yet nobody's getting progress and everybody's totally confused when it comes to getting in shape. The autistic, science-backed obsession has confused people and made getting in shape feel like something you need a PhD for. And it's not just those guys, it's even guys like this when you look into things like nutrition and your just general health. Guys like Paul Saladino and Peter Attia. I like both of these guys, and they have completely contrary opinions when it comes to nutrition. Paul Saladino eats an animal-based diet, is a big proponent of eating a ton of protein and red meat, whereas Peter Attia focuses on longevity and believes in eating less protein and less red meat. So it leads to this thing where everybody's confused. They don't know which diet is the one to follow. They don't know which training program to follow. Everybody's really confused. And guys, I'll be honest, I built my physique that I have had for most of my 20s. I built it without being a part of any cult. There was no person specifically that I followed, no specific training protocol that I followed that was like the science-backed protocol, or it was the one that Mike Mentzer said to do, or this guy said to do. I built my dream physique the simple way. I didn't overcomplicate it. I wasn't tweaking out about every little thing and making sure everything had to be exactly precise and perfect, and anybody who disagreed with me was an idiot, and I wasn't a part of this cult of science or any of this kind of nonsense, and I was able to build the physique that I have today, the physique that I want, and I really wouldn't change it in really any way. Now, simple doesn't mean it's easy, but it does mean it works, and it doesn't require perfection to do it. You don't have to be perfect to get a great physique. This has turned into such an obsession with people and just totally overcomplicating this process. This is really not that hard, guys. A lot of people overcomplicate fitness because it makes them feel smart and superior to others. This video is a rejection of all of that. I hate getting these fucking comments from people. They bitch about your form, they bitch about this science-backed thing and this science-backed thing, and it's just like all of the fitness industry is a bunch of fucking nerds who think they're the smartest guy in the room, trying to tell everybody else how they should get in shape, and half the time they're not even in shape themselves. This video is a total rejection of that. I want people to get back to the era where you just trained hard, where you went to the gym, you went through the process. It was simple, it was straightforward. It's something you did with your friends, you enjoyed it, you weren't tweaking out and stressing about every little thing, and you got results. People were getting results back in the day in a way that I genuinely don't think they are these days. You're going to learn the simple way to build your dream physique that has worked for decades. That's what I'm going to tell you in this video. It's not rocket science. It's straightforward, and it's basically the process that everybody really follows at the end of the day if they're really going to get in shape. And the first thing we need to discuss is why so many people struggle with fitness and why it feels so complicated. And the answer is time. No matter what workout or diet program you are following, it takes time to build a great physique. This time delay to see results causes people to think something is wrong. You start thinking like, okay, maybe I should try this other workout program because this one doesn't seem to be working. It's this issue of information overload. And the thing is, and this is something I've dealt with in business, it's been a struggle for me, is that there's so much information and so much of it is contradictory of each other. Like somebody's telling you to eat this way and somebody else is telling you to eat this way. Somebody's telling you to train like this and somebody else is telling you to train like this. And because there's so much contradictory information and the fact that it takes time to see results, you start doubting everything you're doing and you don't have a proper conception of time. You think there's a better way to do things. And so you're constantly in this state of confusion and stress and not sticking with things. And so results become very difficult to achieve. You try a program for a week, lose discipline, and then end up looking for a, quote, better way to eat and train. I was blessed to learn about fitness at a time when there was less information available on the subject. I didn't have 100 fucking YouTubers telling me how to get in shape. All I had was like a personal trainer at my gym who was training to be a bodybuilder, and like, you know, you would go on bodybuilding.com and maybe see a workout that you could try, or like maybe it was the OG days where Arnold Schwarzenegger had his blueprint workout program with, I think it was bodybuilding.com or something like that he had on YouTube, and that was like basically all you could find, and that's what you did. You just followed these basic things. There wasn't this abundance of information that contradicted itself, and so I really didn't know any better than to just stick with what I was doing and just keep doing it. And it's a real real blessing. I've learned this in boxing too, is like I have a coach who's just an excellent, martial artist in every area of martial arts. And so I can sit back and trust that he knows what I need to be doing. And so I don't sit around stressing and be like, well, I need to do this and this and this. I just trust the process. And there's a real beauty in the simplicity of just sticking with something and trusting someone who's been there and not having that information overload of 100 different opinions on how you should be going about things. I didn't spend my time questioning everything I was doing because I didn't know of anyone questioning it. I didn't know there were alternative options. And here's the thing, guys, any of these people you follow right here on screen, they'll work for you, right? I'm not a big fan of Mike Israetel personally, but I mean, if you do his program, I'm sure you'll get results. If you do what Greg Doucette says, I'm sure you'll get results. If you do what Mike Menser says, I'm sure you'll get results. If you do what Arnold Schwarzenegger says, I'm sure you'll get results. And all of these people have different opinions about how often you should be training, how hard you should be training, what your diet should look like. They all have different opinions on it, but really it's like, clearly all four of them have gotten in shape, right? They've all built physiques. And so the point is, like, there's a lot of different ways to the top of the mountain here. And that I think true mastery of a subject comes down to your ability to see what the core principles are across all things and apply those kinds of things to your situation, right? In business, it's the same thing. You need a good product, you need good marketing. There's a ton of different ways to go about those kinds of things, but that's kind of the crux of business. And the issue of time and not being consistent because there's so much information out there is really the thing that holds people back. This is, like I said, for me in business, this has been an issue, is like, I'll think I'm going down this one path and then someone else will tell me something else and I'll change direction because I'm like, well, maybe this isn't working. And it's something I've had to train out of myself and realize all of these paths work. You just got to stick with one long enough to see results. And that's where the real test of your mental fortitude comes in, is can you stick with something when you're not seeing results? And if you can do that, you'll get the results. The problem usually isn't the program you're following. It's the fact that you aren't consistent enough with it for long enough. You just got to stick with shit long enough to see results, no matter what the program is. The time delay of results causes you to lose discipline and doubt the process. Whatever you do, just stick to it, and you'll find that fitness can be really simple. So here's how I got my physique the simple way. These are just the basic steps. For this video, I tried to simplify this down. What are core principles that I just did them for the most part, right? And I wasn't perfect about this. And that's another awesome thing about this, guys, is I made so many mistakes in my fitness journey. I'm probably still making mistakes. I don't claim to have the perfect answer to this, but I think perfection is the wrong thing to chase. I think that what you really need to be chasing is consistency and hard work. And if you do that, you'll figure out how to get better along the journey, and you'll find what works specifically for you, and you'll get results in the process. And you'll get results a lot faster just by being consistent than by chasing perfection in an inconsistent fashion and changing things up all the time. So the first thing is, I've basically started every workout with a heavy movement. That might be an incline bench press, that might be squats, that might be a shoulder press, but whatever it is, for the past 12 years, I've pretty much always started my workouts with one of the following. It might be an incline or a flat bench, a barbell or a dumbbell shoulder press, deadlifts, back, front, or pendulum squats, leg press, close grip bench, barbell skull crushers or barbell curl, barbell row, or a heavy lat pull down. I've basically always started my workouts with something like this. And the point of this movement is it's the one that you're really going to go hardest on. You're going to go the heaviest on it, right? This is the one where, you're going to do these isolation accessory movements, which really aren't as heavy on the weight side as your original movement that you're doing here. And those are more for accessory things that you're trying to train within the specific muscle group, things like that, getting an extra, specifics. They're a little bit more detailed, whereas this first movement is really about just loading up the weight and doing something heavy that's more of a compound kind of movement. And so I've basically started every one of my workouts with one of these things. Pick the ones that you like, that make sense for the specific thing you're training that day. Start with that. Do 3 to 5 sets at a working weight. And then, I usually do anywhere, depending on the movement, anywhere from about 5 to 10 reps. And it's somewhere in that kind of range. And that's pretty much what I've done. And that's literally for 12 years, that's basically what I've done for every workout. There's, again, this is the gist of it, right? It's changed in variation of things that I've tried, but the core of what I've done has been a heavy movement in that 5 to 10 rep range, basically to start every single workout that I've done for 12 years at this point. Follow a 3 days on, 1 day off split. That's the next thing. Train 3 specific workouts, take a day off, and repeat. That's literally how I've done it. Is I'll go to the gym for 3 days in a row, hit my workouts, take a day off, go back. That has been the best split that I've found. Some people have different ones. They get really, again, complicated with it. And I'm not saying what I'm doing is the exact perfect thing. I'm just saying it works, right? Maybe there's a better way for you. And again, as you get better at this, you can find specifically what you like better. Some people like to do quads on one day, hamstrings on another. Some people like to do arms on one specific day. Some people like to do a back and biceps and a chest and triceps. You can figure those things out and tinker with it as you get good at this kind of stuff. But for simplicity's sake, what I'm telling you here will just get you results, and it's not that hard. So like, these are some examples of how you could do this 3-day on split. You could do a push workout, a pull workout, and a legs workout. So that could be your split: push, pull, legs. You could do chest and arms. You could do back and shoulders. You could do legs and abs. You could do shoulders and arms, chest and back, legs and abs. Like, tweak it to however you like, basically. But like, I do 3 days on, 1 day off. I've done a ton of different variations of this, but this is what I've found works best for me. It allows me to train hard, get that rest day, and I'm good to go. There's people who, again, they do all kinds of things. Mike Menser would tell you to train twice a week and just go really, really hard when you're training. Most people, I don't think, can train as hard as he would advocate for you to train, and so I don't think it's the best approach for you. Then there's some people like Arnold Schwarzenegger would spend 3 hours in the gym 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and he'd just be going fucking hard. I used to do that strategy, and in a lot of ways it did work for me, but I've just found for me personally, what I'm telling you right here has been the best fit for me. And I think it's pretty simple and straightforward. You don't have to think about Monday's chest day and then work around it. It's just like, do 3 workouts, take a day off. That's literally it. If you have a lagging body part, make it the focal point. That's the only thing I'd say to that, right? So like, there's been times when my arms were the lagging body part, and so I focused on those. Then there's times where, maybe it's my back or it's my shoulders. And so you kind of tweak your workout split around that thing that you really want to focus on. But if you're just generally trying to get bigger, build muscle, get in really good shape, build an aesthetic body, just follow one of those splits I just mentioned. You'll get it. Number 3, train hard. Leave the gym feeling like you really worked hard. That's pretty much it. This is not like some people, there's this new thing I hear about, like reps in reserve, where you're trying to leave reps in the tank. I don't personally understand that. It doesn't make sense to me. I basically just try and go fucking hard when I'm in there. And like, I just want to leave feeling like I went hard. I don't have a science-backed technical answer for what that feels like. It's just, you get done and you're like, all right, I went hard. I feel gassed. I pushed myself today. And that's really all you got to do, guys. Again, I built my physique without knowing what reps in reserve was, without knowing what high intensity training is. I literally just went hard, followed this split. Again, this is not that hard, really. It's hard as far as like its discipline, its consistency, but it's simple, right? It's straightforward if you just do this kind of stuff. Number 4, follow up your heavy movements with accessory movements. So that might be a lateral dumbbell raise. That might be a hammer curl. That might be a dumbbell row. Basically, you get those more targeted kind of movements that you're going to follow up your heavy movement with. And so this typically leads to a workout that's anywhere from 45 to 90 minutes, depending on kind of the vibe of the day, honestly. I'm a little bit of a vibes-based lifter in this sense, too, of like, I just kind of go in and I'm like, if I'm just not feeling it, then I'm not going to crank it for 90 minutes. I'm going to get in, get some work in, and get out. And again, it's about winning over the long term. It's not about crushing one workout. It's like, did you show up and do what need to be done consistently? You'll get results. So you basically put a few accessory movements in on the back end. You do your compound movement at the start. That's basically it. Your workout should take 45 to 90 minutes. Not every workout is a 10 out of 10, and that's fine, guys. Like, I have had so many flat workouts where I'm just not feeling it. I had periods where I was screwing my diet up. I had periods where maybe I was overtraining, or maybe I was showing up to the gym and going through the motions for extended periods of time, and I really wasn't raising the weight and pushing myself the way I should have. And it's like, all that shit works itself out with time. Time is the thing that can destroy you in the gym. It's the thing that can give you your physique. It's really about time. If time destroys you, it's because you're not consistent, you're not patient, you're doubting yourself the whole time. Time can benefit you because it doesn't require perfection. It just requires consistency. And so my workouts are not always 10 out of 10. Sometimes I get in there and I'm just not feeling it. I'm tired. I was sick, whatever it was. Some days I get in there and I fucking blast it. It's kind of like, you just go in there and get it done, guys. Really, don't overthink this. Enjoy the process. Like, this is what I really want guys to get back to. Fitness has been such a game changer in my life. I truly love training. It's my favorite thing to do. is get in the gym, get in the boxing ring, whatever it is. I love to move myself. And I want that for you guys too. Like, this should be fun. You should be, every man, I think, deep down really should enjoy just blasting weight, throwing some weight around, testosterone's up, the music on with your boys, getting after it. I just feel like that was the golden era of training. I think that's what I think. So that would solve so many problems for guys, you know, is like, it's like men don't have social lives. It's like, get your friends, get in there and blast some fucking weight. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's on a science-backed protocol now or tweaking out about shit, and they got all their particulars about it, and so you can't even go have fun with your friends. It's like, get in there and get after it, right? That's how you're going to get the best results, and you're going to stick with it. Consistency is all that is required. Number 5, we're getting into the nutrition stuff now. Eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. This is what I have found has been the best, so that if I'm on a cut and I'm trying to burn fat, if I eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, I'm usually able to maintain most of my strength. I very rarely, as long as I'm keeping the protein up, lose much of any strength when I'm cutting weight. Now, I don't get down to crazy lean bodybuilder numbers like 6% body fat. I usually cut down to around 10 to 12% body fat anywhere. And then maybe in the off season or when I'm just not as focused on my diet, I might move up to 15%. So I stay in a pretty tight range there. But, you know, I don't really lose much strength when I cut fat. And it's because I keep the protein number up. I've found in the past when the protein numbers were down, I lost strength. And so this is what I do. I make sure I eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. The 6th thing I do is I track my calories. I use this app called MyFitnessPal. Log all your calories, because here's the thing. What you measure, you improve. Eat whole foods. What are whole foods? It's things like steak, eggs, fruit, sweet potatoes, chicken, things like that, salmon. It's like single ingredient kind of things. My rule is like, eat things that God made, right? Fruit, vegetables, fucking meat, you know, cheese, even technically I would tell you is like God made, right? Like, it's like kind of refined by humans, but I would tell you that's still a natural food. But like things like sodas, things like, I don't know, just like these really processed, even protein bars and things like that, I don't think are great to be eating all the time. I think, you know, I think God knows best. Genuinely, I think God knows better than man. And I have found that truthfully, the more I try to eat, you know, whole foods, eat things that God made, it's just that your health is just better, right? It's just even things like honey, which honey is just sugar, basically. It's like I can eat honey and the reaction my body has to honey, or fruit, which is a ton of sugar, is wildly different than if I eat a donut. You know what I mean? And it was, one of them is human made, one of them is God made. They both have sugar in them. Your body's reaction to it's totally different. It's all about whole foods, natural things. One of these is human made, one of these is God made, as you can see, water versus soda. And we know the difference. Like, it's just a simple moniker. Again, this is simple, right? Is it perfect? But I doubt most of you are trying to be world champion bodybuilders. You just need to get in fantastic shape. What I'm telling you will get it done. You know what I'm saying? Number 8, eat extra calories to build muscle and less calories to lose fat. You're going to have to kind of tinker with this to figure out exactly what you should be eating as far as your calorie totals. Literally just go on Google though and start with caloriecalculator.net, I believe is the website for it. Put in your activity level, put in how much, you know, you weigh and your height. It'll give you a decent idea of how many calories you should be eating if you want to maintain, cut fat, or build muscle. It'll give you a decent idea of that, and then you kind of tinker with it basically just by looking in the mirror over time, weighing yourself and seeing how your progress is going. But basically that's a general rule. Just eat extra calories to build muscle, eat less calories to lose fat, and as long as your protein's at 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, you usually won't lose much strength when you're cutting back down. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is the simple plan to get yourself in fantastic shape. Anyone who does this will have a top 1% physique in 18 months. Seriously, like if you just do what I said right there, I promise you, you're going to be in good shape. And if you do want to get more specific, the only thing you need to do is train for your specific situation. What do I mean by that? Well, you guys are going to be in different places with your physique. Some of you might be these really hard gainer skinny guys. You might be skinny fat. You might be actually overweight. And there are different technicalities to how you're going to want to train for these types of things. It's still simple, but you cater that simple approach to your specific physique because you have different needs in that situation. And if you want to learn how to train for your specific situation so you can get jacked, just click the video on screen and I go over all of it for each of these 3 body types. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you later.